Hey there, Dr. Albert Wong here. Welcome back to my channel. I want to talk today about something called the window of tolerance. It's a term originally coined by Dr. Dan Siegel, and it refers to this zone in which we can operate in a regulated way. When we are within our window of tolerance, we are humming along, doing our thing, feeling safe and secure, able to be connected with others. However, if life comes at us too much, too fast, too soon, if things are too intense or too challenging or too hard, we are thrown out of our window of tolerance. We can't cope. It's overwhelming. So it's really helpful to know what is in our window of tolerance and what is beyond our window of tolerance. Basically, the window of tolerance is how much intensity can we handle before we flip into hyperarousal or hypoarousal. If you're confused about what those fancy terms mean, you can check out the previous video. One thing that trauma does is it shrinks our window of tolerance. It makes us less able to contend with the normal stressors of life. We become very easily triggered. We go into overwhelm much more quickly. That's a consequence, frequently, of trauma. There's a lot of negative consequences of staying outside the window of tolerance for too long. If we are outside the window of tolerance for too long, reality takes a certain hue. If we're in hyperarousal for too long, everything around us begins to look unsafe and like a threat. We don't know how to distinguish between kindness and manipulation. We don't know how to see friendliness even when it might actually arrive. If we are in hyperarousal, we will see the world not as it is, but as we are. We're in a state of emergency alert, and even if friendliness arrives, kindness arrives, we may not be able to see it even if it comes knocking at our doorstep. We might be locked into this mentality of us versus them. You might know people who, even when you come in kindness, even when you are trying to come in peace, they interpret you as coming with ill intent or malice or aggression, and that can be a sign that they are having a trauma response. They are locked into hyperarousal. Sometimes we call it a 90-10 reaction, where it's maybe 10% about what's happening now, but really 90% about what's happened before. So if you are outside your window of tolerance, your reality, the way you perceive things, will be drastically different from the way things are. There's a section in Bessel Vander The Body Keeps the Score, a wonderful book about trauma, where they showed children, many different children, a rather neutral picture of a father changing the oil underneath the car, and a child handing the father a wrench. And most children saw that picture and saw, somebody's working on their car, and the child is helping and giving the father a wrench. The kids who were traumatized interpreted that visual image very differently. Their reality, their perceptual reality, was locked in a hyperaroused state. They perceived imagery as having threat, even if it might not have been threat. They saw a child waving a wrench as if to attack the father. or the father about to get crushed and in danger and stuck underneath the car, flailing or helpless. There's many ways in which trauma manifests, but it shifts our perceptual reality. And if we are stuck in a zone outside of our window of tolerance, we aren't seeing the world the way it actually might be. If we're in hyperarousal, we see the world as filled with threat. We believe that there's danger around every corner. We must protect ourselves however we can. If we are outside of our window of tolerance and thrown into hypoarousal, the way we view the world is a world where there's no space for our voice, where any attempt to achieve is hopeless. We become stuck in a learned, helpless state. We believe we cannot make a difference, and that becomes our outside of window of tolerance lens through which we see the world. We believe that we are incapable, unable to take action. Reality becomes distorted, just like in hyperarousal, where the world becomes filled with threat. In hypoarousal, the world is still filled with threat, but the new information is it's an inescapable threat, something for which we have no remedy, even if the keys to the kingdom lie straight at hand. So notice if you are in a state of hyperarousal or hypoarousal, and consider that you might be out of your window of tolerance. Part of the job in healing trauma is finding our way back into our window of tolerance, finding our way back into that feeling of safe and secure, where we can actually connect with each other. So that's the notion of the window of tolerance. Do you find yourself frequently outside of your window of tolerance? Do you go to one of those other places? Do you feel safe in the world? That's the ultimate question. In order to heal from trauma, we have to relearn what it's like to be safe again. We have to remember the potentiality and the possibility of connectedness, care, nurturance, love. So do you find yourself thrown outside of the window of tolerance? If so, do you get thrown into hyperarousal or hypoarousal? And what do you do to make your way back in? How do you find your way back inside the window of tolerance? You can leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and yeah, we'll see you around. Take care.